All right.
Okay, and apparently it says that we are live. We've got the ticker going down, and we'll just wait for a couple of minutes for people to get in here. It is election eve. People will start voting in about 8 to 10 hours. And my children have had the last couple of days off from school for this bullshit, so I'm expecting a whole lot of nothing. Like, I think this is going to be a very dull election. I think it's just going to be pretty much. I think it's going to have the energy of a Joe Biden rally. I think that's how.
Well, it depends how it turns out.
Yeah, I really think that is how stomped Biden is going to get as the results start pouring in. I just think he's going to get curb stomped. But that is my optimism speaking, of course. So we have with us Incel Riot, who has made a fantastic card game. Go ahead and chill your shit, because I love blasting your platform.
Oh, I don't even know how.
You don't know how?
No, I've never used StreamYard before.
Oh no, you just speak, man. This is you telling everyone what you're about.
Oh, I make card games for a living that dunk on liberals, and they hate it, and I'm banned from everywhere.
Which means everyone should buy and subscribe to this lovely individual.
If you want.
I will be sure to put your link in the description when the stream is over.
Okay.
But yes, so we'll handle that. So last night I had runners election predictions. What are yours for the U.S. election?
Election predictions?
Yes.
Well, I think they're running the same suppression polls that they ran in 2016. Do you remember 2016 where you went on? What was I think it was CNN, and they had like this needle, right? That was like 96% Hillary, and it stayed at like 80% Hillary all the way, even past this point that Trump already had like 270.
Yeah.
And then as he zoomed past that, the needle suddenly started to move very quickly.
Yeah, there's a river named after that phenomenon.
Denial?
Yes. Denial, man.
Is it denial or is it suppression? I lean towards suppression.
Well, no, I was watching the Tim Pool video that they did on this. He quoted Nigel Farage, who said that these polls are just a giant psyop to psych out people who want to vote Trump.
Yes.
But the fact is, the Trump supporters have already decided, like, if we can convert people like Tim Pool and the neocon establishment like Glenn Beck was, like, we're talking about the guy who put his face in a bowl of Cheetos.
I remember that. I thought he was done. Then he came back. Like, how do you come back from that?
He repented, and we're a Christian nation. That's what happened.
Well, he let what's her name, the blonde woman, do all his appearances for him. He himself no longer puts his face on the TV.
Are you talking about Tomi Lahren?
Tomi Lahren? Yeah, that's her.
No, he fired her. He fired.
Did?
Yeah, because she went on The View and said that there is in the Constitution a right to abortion. And I'm like,
really?
Holy shit.
Well, okay, but you're with me, right? Like, when he started to come back, Tomi Lahren was doing all his appearances, and then I guess he got some more people from there. It was like, wow, okay, that's how you do it. You can't show your Cheeto covered face on the screen anymore, so you just hire somebody else to do it for you.
Actually, I think he came back after he'd already fired her. If I'm getting the timeline right.
The Blaze was broadcasting, and Tomi Lahren was his like main anchor for a while.
Oh, that's disgusting, because dude, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, she's so hot and she says all these conservative things." I hated Tomi Lahren the first time I laid eyes on her, and it's just because she's cute like a chihuahua trying to yap at you kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I never heard anything original. There's nothing that came out of that girl's mouth that I didn't already think of the night before.
No. I mean, like, I never liked her either. Like, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick.
Yeah, and when she showed her colors on The View, I was just like, oh, you're out. Goodbye.
Constitutional right to an abortion. How about that? No, I don't think so.
No, I'm pretty.
What part of the Constitution is that?
Uh-huh.
Oh, nobody knows what's in the Constitution.
Like a line and verse, please. Line and verse. So, anyways, yeah, my kids have the day off have election day off this year, and I don't think they've ever done that before. I think the real reason is the reason why it's the same reason why the left wanted to keep the schools shut down. Every teacher that was writing for Antifa wants to have their chance to go to the streets.
You think?
I
think they think that their primary obstacle to getting elected is lower turnout. So they're just, if everybody turns out, they think, then it'll be better for them. I don't think that's true. I don't think the people that they're motivating to go out are necessarily going to vote for them.
I would agree entirely. I would absolutely agree with that assessment. Besides, the secret vote, the secret Trump vote is going to be insanely massive. Like, I know people who are radically Trump, and they actually smartened up this year. And people like me, the extreme conservative, the kind of conservative who fought against gay marriage in California, they actually started getting text messages about, hey, how are you voting? And I, like every other shitlord who was maligned 4 years ago, just said quippy things like, have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? And other funny nonsense to these stupid pollsters trying to get a feel of our vote. I think that Nigel Farage said it in this article that Tim Pool cited, where we view the polling places and polling agencies as a part of the old establishment. So they're getting the cold shoulder. And I do not think they have an accurate description of what's going to happen in about 8 to 12 to 16 hours. I don't think they have a clue.
I don't think anybody does. I predict like a huge wave for Trump, unless there is suppression. There's a unique viewpoint, right? Pretty much everybody's viewpoint at this point.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Nobody remembers. It was a hardcore liberal. It was the New York Times, I think. Ran an editorial where some guy actually doing journalism, and he went and broke down like where the big moves were, in 2016 as opposed to 2012. And what the conventional wisdom was like, white supremacists, coming out and repudiating 8 years of Obama. He said, no. Like, the guys who voted for Romney are the same guys who are voting for Trump, like on the white people's side, right? Like, there was no move there. The big move was in minority voters. And 96%, whatever, like pro-Democrat, and it moved a little bit to like 80% or 70%. So like 10-20% of like the Hispanics and the African Americans were voting Republican that year, and that was the move that got him elected.
Yeah, and that gap,
like, they call them like the Rust Belt. Yeah, like up there. Lots of African Americans up there, and that's what won him Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan and stuff like that.
And the that hold that Trump had on the minority votes has grown. It was what
out and engaged with them aggressively.
It's gone from like 6% that he got in 2016, and his approval with blacks has increased to 40 to I'm hearing like 40% of black approval for Trump.
Well, they got Kanye, they got 50 Cent, they just got like who's the other guy they just got?
Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne jumped on.
I saw an analysis in, I think it was also 2016, like if the Democrats lose even like a fraction of their minority vote, they cease to exist as a party. They will never win another thing ever.
As the gods intended.
You're a liberal party, right? Which means you're what? You're Labor. You're the Labor Party. In any other country, you would be the Labor Party.
Mm-hmm.
right? But they're openly hostile to like the working class, like they hate the working class. So who do you have actually? You have a whole bunch of rich white people on the coast, and you have your minorities who apparently are too stupid to make up their own minds. You can just count on them to vote for you year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
So if they lose that, they're done. They got nothing.
Well, and
It will be the white people party, the rich white people
I
party.
don't understand. I don't understand how a party that claimed to be pro-minority could be so rabidly anti-family.
Yes.
There's not a single piece of the Democratic platform that is pro-family other than, oh, we want to give you free health care. These people actually have values. They actually have I don't know if you can call them principles, but they do have, ethics. They do have a something that they want to represent and preserve and foster. And there is nothing in the Democrat Party that promotes that. In fact, they're
No.
openly antagonistic to it. So
Hispanics and African Americans are overwhelmingly more likely to go to church than white people.
Yeah. And it's, oh my gosh, and don't get me started on the black view of gay marriage. Good Lord. No,
do you remember and it was early on, like 1996. Probably not, everybody else is too young, but in early 1996, or no, like between 94 and 96, when the whole like the gay movement was really getting up and going, and they were tagging the civil rights movement, right? Like, this is just like the civil rights movement. If you agree with the civil rights movement, you got to agree with this. And the King family, his daughter or granddaughter came out and said, "Please stop." Please stop.
No.
Don't bring my dad into this. And the NAACP said, "Please stop this. This is nothing like." And I guess that was 30 years ago. So they dropped that. Like they.
I don't know where I cannot comment on the NAACP stance on gay marriage. Like that's
they did in the 90s. It's like, please stop, and nobody paid attention. So okay, they stopped talking. The Republican Party at the time was not the kind of party to take advantage of that. They should have.
No, they really should have. But I remember during there were two events when it came to gay marriage, and they both happened in California. It was Prop 22 and Prop 8. Now, Prop 8 was the big one, but even with both of those, you couldn't pass gay marriage in California because of the minority vote.
Yeah,
and Trump has completely monopolized on that reality, and it's going to be a landslide victory. And no one is seeing it because they assume that A, the minorities are going to vote Democrat, and B, the minorities aren't telling you. They are keeping their mouths shut. Outside of the rappers who have said, well, we're going to meet our lifetime idol, Donald Trump, who we have been writing songs about for years.
I have a question, though. Who takes these polls, and how do they do it?
I'll be honest.
I have never been polled ever.
I'm saying up until this year, and I commend them for it, but it's too little, too fucking late.
But no, where I'm going with this is, do they still just call people with listed numbers? They're on their landlines.
Yes, and what they do, and what they do is they then take all of the data that they have, and then they say, oh, what is the probability of this person voting, or is this group representative of America? Let's take out these certain results because we want a representative pool. And they don't actually show you all of the real results. It's specifically tailored. And of course, the polling results as a result are rigged. They're not true. They're not representative. They're slanted. They have a margin of error.
Even beyond that, though, like who has do you have a landline? I don't have a landline. Old people have landlines, like my parents. Like they have a landline. You call them up and like, oh, that Donald Trump.
No. And as I'm saying, to their credit, they have been hitting up my cell phone. So your cell phone data has been leaked out to these polling agencies, and they have been contacting Trump supporters, they've been widening their net, so to speak. With I don't think they're getting the amount of response from Trump supporters that they assume that they would be getting. They're assuming that a Trump supporter would gladly get back to them and let them know that they're voting for their president, and that's not the case.
I don't know how many young people, right? How many young people are gonna first answer their phone for like somebody they don't know, and sit and answer questions.
Oh my gosh!
Like nobody.
Yeah, and there's another thing that's been discovered is that Gen Z is slightly more conservative now.
Overwhelmingly more conservative.
So that there's also that they can't rely on the young vote, and you're in China, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you haven't been seeing the same YouTube ads that I've been seeing.
Oh, I see YouTube ads.
Okay, have you seen the ones that are tailored for Americans, where they say, it's not a public record who you voted for, but we can see whether or not you voted. And your friends and your family and your neighbors are going to know whether or not you voted. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Oh, holy shit. And sure enough, I go to the organizations in question, and at least one of them is a grantee of the Open Society Foundation, meaning the Open Society Foundation gave them money. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, well, I'm assuming you know who the Open Society Foundation is.
I do not.
Oh, that is the Open Society Foundation is the philanthropic storefront for George Soros.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of those.
Yep. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So intimidation ads, nifty.
Intimidation ads from a George Soros backed agency called Voto Latino, which again, Hispanics and blacks, if you're going to intimidate them to go vote, this might not turn out the way you want it.
No.
This might not go the way you planned. And of course, there are rumors that they're going to flip Texas, which is absolute bullshit. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I live there, and every time I see a Joe Biden sticker, or even worse, I still see Beto stickers, Beto or and every time I see one, I'm like, oh God, there's our village idiot. There's our deficient one, our dunce, and Texas is not flipping blue. It's not even purple. It's not even remotely purple.
I don't know who came up with it. Is that a Nate Silver thing where he thinks like that's not going to happen?
Yeah. It is a Nate Silver thing. I'm pretty certain that's in his.
I saw his map. They showed Utah as like a soft red, like not even like an 80% red, but like a 60% red. Like, how did that happen?
Wait, who was soft red?
Utah on the Nate Silver map. It's like it leans Republican. Are you shitting me? Like Utah's like.
I have no comment, because there are enough church wives on antidepressants who are, as far as I'm concerned, with Donald Trump, wildly unpredictable.
Get them more cake.
Yeah. Tell them to make more casseroles. Who the hell knows? Oh my gosh. No, it's it's depressing. Like the state of Utah is in flux as far as that's concerned. Sadly,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
It's not cataclysmic, but it's in flux.
Has
Um,
the have the elders of the church not come out and endorsed a candidate this year?
they've never and they never will. They have never endorsed a candidate.
Mitt
They
Romney ran
no, they did
it.
not.
They did. It
They
was notable because they never do that, and that year they did.
no, they didn't. Oh,
Sure.
hang on. Okay, show me the article. I'm asking for receipts, sir. Now,
Oh, man, I gotta go
Mitt
do homework.
Romney. Here's what I know. I know that Mitt Romney claimed he had a discussion with who was a lot. Was it Monson or was it? No, Mitt Romney claimed that while he was running for governor, he had a talk with Hinckley, and he said whether he said, am I going to win? And Hinckley said, who knows, but it'll be a journey, a good journey either way. Something very, very vague. Which, as I said, if you can find the receipts on the church endorsing Mitt Romney, I will eat my hat. But as far as I know, that's never happened.
Okay. Well, I'll do that later.
Well, not only okay, because you had Mitt Romney running for president, then you have fucking Harry Reid in the Senate. Now, Harry Reid. Because say that again.
Is he Mormon?
Harry Reid, yes.
Oh, didn't know.
Yeah, he's a Nevada senator, if memory serves,
Yeah.
or he was leftist Democrat, pro-abortion, pro-gay marriage.
Oof.
And apparently he held a temple recommend. So I'm not even going with.
That's politics.
It is politics because as the church says, they're not going to get involved in that at all.
Notable Mormons like the Osmond family get special dispensations. They don't have to follow all the rules, because you're doing God's work by being a senator or whatever.
I know several in the church who feel contrary to that notion.
Yeah, I know. We're getting way off into a rabbit hole here, but the Donny Osmond was given a special dispensation to not go on a mission because he was doing the work of the church by singing songs. This is a long time.
No. That's not entirely fair. They were doing active proselyting at the Osmond concerts and letting people in for free if you came in with with the missionaries or something like that. So
Sure.
that's actually legit. That's not them being snaky or whatnot. They saw an opportunity and they seized it. But anyways, it's going to be interesting. It's my Friday. I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to be able to enjoy Election Day with the family, and it's going to be. I'm just going to chill. I'm not
Really?
worried about this. I'm not going to worry about this election.
You sound worried.
Do I sound worried?
Yes. You sound a little bit worried. By coming out and announcing that you're not worried. Only a worried person would say that. I'll tell you what I think. I think no matter which way it goes, it's going to be good. I would prefer that we won. But on the other hand, history's going the way it's going. Like the electorate, the culture is shifting in our direction. And if the Democrats win this time, and well, first of all, they're going to punish everybody, right, for the past 4 years.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's going to be a massive shit show.
So what you're saying is it might be better if Biden wins because it'll force the Trump supporters to go scorched earth.
Can you imagine what a Biden presidency will be like? He'll have like the election manipulation hanging over. It'll be hanging over everybody's heads. Everybody will know that he got there possibly because of voter manipulation, definitely because the big tech sites and all of the media were basically like campaigning for him, and also the allegation that he takes money from the Chinese government.
So
how does that guy govern? Right?
Well,
how does he govern?
Well, here's the big question though: is how would the Trump supporters and the things that Trump has set in motion, other than releasing the entirety of Hunter Biden's laptop, which would most certainly also come to pass. Other than that, what recourse would the right have?
Against Biden?
Other than Boogaloo.
I'm thinking Boogaloo. I think Boogaloo.
Okay, I will accept that answer. Boogaloo is the appropriate response. The question is, will most Americans be that brave?
I don't want to say anything that's going to get you arrested. I'm fine. Like, they can't get me here. But if right, it's not a question of having somebody help you with the election. Like, the allegation is that the Communist Party of China has leverage over Biden and his family. Like, they give him billions of dollars, and they have this cache of stuff of him and his son doing unspeakable, horrible things. Right? That's not a conflict of interest. That's not problematic. That's treason. That's treason, right?
Well, and here's the thing. I hear you.
People held for that. The Rosenberg went to the chair for that.
I agree with you. Here's the problem. There is no infrastructural apparatus that is available to either the American people or even the Department of Justice. We don't trust our own FBI. We don't have a good CIA. Who would hold Biden accountable for his bullshit?
The public.
Okay.
What is it? Soapbox, ballot box, ammo box. Then we're into ammo box. There's a fourth one for this.
All right. I will neither confirm nor deny.
Expect to knock at your door. Hello, this guy that on your podcast that we've been watching for some time. Really bad dude. He just said something on your channel. Did you just threaten violence against the president of the United States?
I can neither confirm nor deny, and you have just lost permission to be on my property. Please leave post haste.
You just platformed a threat against the president, the future president of the United States. You are so busted right
now. I know. This is bona fide hate speech. Good thing that I am an out and out hate agent. Yeah. Seriously, on my Parler bio, it says villain, cad, hate agent, a whole list of the laundry list of things.
Right on.
So the fact that I might have someone on my stream who would imply that the future potential president might get boogalooed.
I think the Boogaloo actually switched sides now. They're with the Democrats now.
That would be. Isn't that essentially what Antifa are? Is leftist Boogaloos?
Yes, they are. I was a member of some Boogie Boy channels on YouTube, or not YouTube, on Facebook, and they kind of started leaning right wing, and the admins expunged all the Republicans. I was one of these guys who got expunged.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Boog boys are not right wing.
We're pro Biden. We're pro all this stuff. We don't want anything to do with you guys.
That's actually really interesting. That on Facebook, the Boogaloo boys are primarily left wing. This is news to me.
Yes, that's my understanding. They kicked me out, so I can't keep tabs on them anymore. But yeah, well, they were always left-leaning, right? But they were in kind of a gray area. They were left-leaning, but they were they were saying they're pro-Second Amendment. So a lot of conservatives joined their thing. And then who was it? Vice or Vox or one of those shit tier came out the George Floyd riots and said called them white supremacists. Like, oh, that's hilarious. Like, and they're like, we don't want
Oh,
anything to do with that. We're kicking all you guys out.
oh my gosh. So it never was the Proud Boys, is what I'm
No,
hearing.
no,
The
no. Proud
Proud
Boys
Boys
are
have been exonerated.
Proud Boy. Well, exonerated. Sure.
Vindicated.
Well, the Proud Boys always were like anti-Antifa, right? That's their
Yeah.
thing. So, like, we'll show up and defend against Antifa. Anywhere Antifa goes, we'll show up and we'll defend against those guys. But the Boogaloo Boys, they just want Second Amendment. They want armed revolt against the corrupt government. They're strong anti-Trump thing.
That is not the media narrative, and I don't know how I didn't see past that one. I don't
Not the media narrative.
see now. I actually have Proud Boys who are like proud Boogaloo Boys.
Still,
So it's some of them, yeah, and I don't think that they understand the context of a Boogaloo Boy. I just think that they.
I guess I didn't either. I went out and got myself a couple Hawaiian shirts. Like, I'm down with this. Get a Hawaiian shirt. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not a member anymore. You're not very good at getting their message across. How about that?
Well, they are, from what the sound, they are leftist leaning prepper types. So who the hell knows what they actually think?
They're definitely pro BLM and pro like defund the police kind of stuff. So I know that.
Oh my, that's just insane. I could never get down with the whole defund the police. Like, that's sure. Some of them have their problems.
Broke ties with Kickstarter because over BLM, the defund the police thing.
Yeah, just anything BLM related. Just no.
Did you know? No. Like, okay, everybody and their dog, right, has like, virtue signaling, like the black avatar, the black icon, like Black Lives Matter. Like, okay, it's corporate speak. A boardroom decided that this is like the best way to take their brand, whatever. But they didn't do that. Like Kickstarter, they have the link at the top that says Black Lives Matter. It's a deep link, not to the front page of BLM, but a deep link to the defund the police page, taking donations. Like, oh shit, I can't be associated with that. Canceled my Kickstarter. Moved to Indiegogo.
I did not know that Kickstarter had joined started shilling for the defund the police movement. That's actually
follow the link. It doesn't show up on mobile, but if you go to their desktop website, there's a link below their logo says Black Lives Matter. You click on it, it deep links to a defund the police page. Absolutely amazing.
Anyways, and that's also why Trump is getting reelected.
Yes.
Just they couldn't pick a winning side for 2020 if their lives depended on it.
No, they're really, really out of it. They're really out of touch. Reminds me of like the Republicans back in what was it? Like in the late 60s? Like they just don't get it.
Yeah, and it's just, how can you be this out of touch? Like,
well, you seal yourself off from everything that angers or confuses you. You get up in the morning, your house with the blonde wood and like well lit, very open windows out on your garden, very very hippie kind of a ranch style house, and you turn on NPR. And then you get in your minivan and you go to work and you're surrounded by, and once in a while, like something will leak through your bubble, right? Something that you didn't mean to see, like somebody voicing an opinion or and then you go, and you like mash the, block that button. And then it's gone. Like, whew, that was close.
And is that really the thing that makes them believe that white supremacy is growing in America? Because I don't
believe everything they're told.
Dude, I was arguing with this guy on my Facebook, and this is probably why I get sucked so often. But no, I was arguing with this guy, and he said to me like they were in Portland, and they caught a Proud Boy doing white supremacy signs. I'm like, okay, so you saw him giving the okay symbol, right?
Mm-hmm. Or shaking hands or waving hello or something. Yeah, one of those white supremacy signs.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, but I yelled at him, and he looked embarrassed, and he was on his phone, and he had racial slurs. I'm like, what are you talking about? Give me something concrete. And all he could give me was the okay symbol as an unironic white supremacy fake gesture. Oh my gosh!
Were you alive? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, this is the mindset. It's this this sheltered. It's sheltered. It is the sheltered perspective that makes him so intolerable to the rest of the electorate that again will assure a Trump victory, which is why I expect a very dull morning when I get off work.
Yeah. Were you alive for the satanic panic back in the late 80s? Mid to late 80s?
No, I was probably just learning my first steps when all that went down.
Exactly like this.
They were okay.
The satanic panic. Everybody was like freaking out about like secret like satanic societies and devil worshippers and all this stuff, and the media like the heavy metal guys, right, would like completely play into this.
Yeah, here's the weird thing about that though. Even back then, the whole satanic panic came from fucking Tipper Gore.
No. Tipper Gore was after. Tipper Gore was. This would be in the mid 80s, early 80s. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Oh no, it started off with a couple serial killers, like the Zodiac guy and a couple other things, and people just came unglued. And the Judas Priest? This would be like 1982, where like the two kids like listen to the heavy metal music and then they commit suicide, and this is all over the news because nothing else is going on. And as a child, I was treated to like, at church when I was Mormon, like Lex de Azevedo, the guy who did the what's his musical? Not My Turn on Earth, the other one.
Are you talking about Saturday's Warrior?
The Saturday's Warrior guy had like a big thing like music and morality where we had to like sit and listen to this 2-hour thing about backmasking, like how if you listen to the thing backwards, like, and they were totally into this. My mom was totally into it. Like everybody at church was completely into it. Like, this is real. And the rumor about Alice Cooper, like biting the head of the chicken off stage and drinks the blood, and people believed this.
That was Ozzy Osbourne with the bat.
It was neither of them. Actually, the rumor was Ozzy Osbourne with a bat. It originates with Alice Cooper throwing a chicken into the crowd, and the crowd tore it apart. That's the origin of the rumor, and then it grew and grew, and then it became Ozzy Osbourne because he was popular at the time. That would be 84, and it was a bat, and it went from a chicken to a bat. And
that's actually funny because I do know about Alice Cooper and about how that whole satanic panic shit is what inspired his song "No More Mr. Nice Guy."
Yes, and then the heavy metal guys like completely played into it and like did themselves up like Satanists and like put occult symbols and the more mom and dad freaked out, the more the kids loved it. It's exactly the same dynamic that's going on now, where you get these 4chan guys who aren't racist, right? They're just doing this because it's really hilarious and that their parents would freak out about nothing, right? There's nothing here, but I can say this word and mom and dad go ballistic.
Yeah, it gets a rise out of them. So that I think you're right. That is exactly what this is. It's a giant troll. It's a giant nothing.
Oh, by the way, it's topical now because I remember how this quote unquote alt-right thing, I remember how it started.
Yeah.
The first Borat movie.
Wait, the what movie?
Yes, the first Borat was like 20.
Oh my gosh.
It was the first Borat movie. These 13, 14-year-old kids who watched Borat and loved it because it was so transgressive and they don't know anything about, well, they know a little bit about like the Holocaust and the Civil Rights Movement. That happened 2 generations ago. And they would quote the Borat movie, right? And their teachers, their mom and dad would flip out, and they didn't know why, and it made it that much funnier, right? Because you sing the "Throw the Jew Down the Well" song, and all of a sudden you're in the principal's office. Like, we need to search your locker. Are you part of the Trenchcoat Mafia? We need to go through your journals, and
And Borat.
Are you taking your meds?
Yeah, and the actor of Borat just like went full TDS recently, didn't he?
He has no idea that he's responsible for all of this. But he is. He started this.
It's all your fault. It's
pretty
all
much
your fault.
It pretty much is.
Oh my
Like, you can go
goodness.
see this movie. Like, kids don't understand this double standard where, okay, if you are Jewish, you can make the anti-Semitic jokes, but then if you love the movie, you cannot repeat the jokes, or else you're in trouble. Like, how does that make sense?
Dude, you know what pissed me off? Okay, this is what pissed me off. Mel Brooks, of all fucking people, is shilling for Biden.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. You know who else is shilling for Biden this year? Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer of Amren, formerly of, he's a Biden guy.
No. Also a CNN correspondent, I believe, or CNN expert.
Oh, Richard Spencer?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He's a CNN correspondent on white supremacy and Donald Trump and all this wonderful stuff. And according to Richard Spencer, Donald Trump is, no longer in fashion for the alt-right. So
that's true.
It is, but I mean, it doesn't help their narrative any much, giving Richard Spencer a goddamn platform.
Yeah. The actual alt-right is dead.
Okay, he is literally the poster child of punch a Nazi.
Yep.
Unironically.
And he's anti-Trump and pro-Biden.
And he's on CNN as a bona fide analyst or some bullshit like that. This is 2020.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's all coming undone.
Like, reality is fraying at the seams, and the threads are being pulled.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you're in. Well, we're not going to say where in China, or where. What? I'm not. I value your life too much. I need my card games.
They can't get me. I'm not scared. I'm about an hour out of Wuhan, actually.
Okay.
So we were the second people quarantined in the world.
So yes, the virus came from this individual.
Might have been me.
It might have been him. So, all right. Since you are on the in that side of the world, what is the next big catastrophe of 2020 outside of potentially this election?
Oh, Civil War. Not Civil War.
Really?
War. Yeah.
Not giant radioactive spiders, not zombie apocalypse. You're telling me it's Civil War? Come on, it's 2020. 2020, the sky's the limit.
Civil War, geez, how deep do you want to go? How conspiracy minded are your guys? Oh wait, no, I've been on your channel. I know exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. My take on this is a little bit different from everybody else's take on this. It seems to me like it's not a civil war at the street level, between the Proud Boys and Antifa. That's not going to happen. But at the deep state level, it seems to me that it is.
So what you're saying is Q was right all along?
Q, actual Q, if there is such a person, before it jumped the fence and went all crazy, they say that they are the voice of basically military intelligence.
Okay. Elaborate. Now, just full disclaimer for people on the channel. I'm personally not a fan of Q, not because of anything that they say or represent. I like the anti-pedo shit. What I don't like is telling people to sit back and trust the plan. For me, that's fuck that shit. If you're going to be an activist, go out and do your own thing. Put yourself out there on Facebook. Let people know that Trump supporters are real, and that people who think and have these values are real. You'll do more good that way. But in terms of what Q is, I'm going to let you take the floor because that's as much as I know.
Okay, this is a minority theory. It's basically just my theory. But there's an article that everybody should read. That it's one of those articles that you drop on people and they read it and like, huh? But it's like so outside their reality that they can't process it. It's called Military to Military by Seymour Hersh. Seymour Hersh, the guy who broke My Lai, and like proper journalist. And what he's reporting on is that after 9/11, the intelligence services were given expanded powers, like to fight terrorism. And one of the things that they were allowed to do is that the military was able to directly contact the militaries of other countries, right? To get advanced knowledge. Usually it has to go through diplomatic channels, like the military talks to the State Department goes to the State Department of the other guys. Like it's a big, long chain. But like to speed things up, we're going to okay, you military, you go talk to, you can go directly talk to the military of Russia, right? Or to Germany or France. And if they know something, they can tell you and we can get on this immediately, right? So there's that thing. And, just to finish up the article, basically the reason that the Russians and the Syrians were able to make such short work of ISIS was because our military, this is in the article, okay? This is not my theory. The military of the United States of America was feeding information on ISIS, like their capabilities and their movements, to Russia via Germany.
Interesting.
Right? And if you believe, which I do, that ISIS is basically a creation of the Gulf states, partially Israel, and the United States CIA, then the United States military is basically committing not treason, but going directly against the interests of the CIA. Like the CIA made ISIS to overthrow Assad with the help of the Gulf states, and the United States military intelligence says nuh-uh, and they feed this information to Russia and helps Russia crush it.
You see, now that's interesting because I have always, almost on my periphery, I have seen the degenerate aspects of the West enhanced in ISIS propaganda. And it seems to me that there has been almost a deliberate campaign to highlight the
for sure,
the Hollywood, the pornographic aspect, the immodesty of the West to ISIS
to recruit them. Yeah.
Yes, to recruit them. And it seems almost blatant. And you're sitting here going, okay, where are they getting all this shit? Because it's not like you can just take a pornographic DVD and sell it in the Middle East. It's not like these American companies are doing this, or maybe they are, and they've had some backroom deal. But that can't be an easy thing for them to access or know about on their streets. Like it has to be a concerted effort to bring this to their awareness, to their consciousness. And
their production capabilities were very sophisticated. Yes, quite sophisticated indeed.
So
they had a really easy time getting their message out.
Yeah. So the recruitment of ISIS and their strategy to do so, to me, seemed all too sophisticated, all too well packaged, almost like they were. I do think that they were psyoped either by the local imam or by other people.
Yeah. I don't know who proved it. I don't have an article ready next to me, but they were basically the CIA. And the Gulf states, Bahrain, Qatar, and places like that, they They funded it mostly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
But to get back to the Q.
Yes, back to the Q.
Okay. Other things that may or may not be related. Do you remember 2008, 2009? The minute Obama got into office, right, they started pumping up the war with Iran thing. Remember, they had the Green Revolution going, and they had Netta, and she gets assassinated, and she gets shot in the street, and the cameras are all over it, and everybody's got like the T-shirts, like "We are all Netta," and they're waving the green flags. And for a year, we were treated to like, we're going to invade Iran, we're going to happen, it's going to happen, and they prepped the American public, the world was prepped for an invasion of Iran, right?
Yep.
You remember that, right?
I do.
The military never moved.
Uh-huh.
Nothing ever happened, and then they just suddenly dropped it. Okay, so that happened. I'm like, that's interesting. Were they given the order to move and then they didn't? Or did Obama just get cold feet, or what happened? Who knows? Okay, but immediately after that, if you go to Rents, and I think you can verify this independently, after that happened, Obama fired like 50 generals.
Yeah.
Yeah, tons of people. Tons and tons of people.
And he replaced them with yes men, essentially.
Right. Yes. And I have a friend who is in the military, who does military communications, who says that, I shouldn't even tell you this, probably told me this in confidence, but who was handling intelligence for I don't remember. But he did that for the Army, and they were all replaced with quote unquote civilian contractors. They were taken out of the loop. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
So it seems to me that those are the two sides. Oh, and in the Q video, if you've seen that, like Q, the plan to save the world, they say that they're military intelligence. They say that that's who they are. Like, I had this theory going, and then like this Q thing pops up. I'm like, what's this? And I watched the video and like, that's what I thought. Yes, it seemed like they were military intelligence. They come out and say that they're military intelligence. Okay, so that makes sense. And okay, fourth bit of information. I wish I could verify this, but I can't. Do you remember very, very early on, 2016 election, Alex Jones was dead set. He's always been like, he hated both the parties. It's like they're all part of the global conspiracy to enslave the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Roger Stone gets on there and he says this. He said this on the show live, but he never rebroadcast it, so I can't show it to you. Mm-hmm. He had Roger Stone on a couple of times, and he's like, I had a long talk with Roger Stone, and like Trump, he's legit. He's the real thing. Like he's fighting the globalists. Okay, so somebody sat down with Alex Jones, probably Roger Stone, and told him what the plan was, and then on the same show, they basically said that this faction, the military intelligence / military faction, basically approached Trump.
Oh.
Asked him to run for president as their guy because they felt like they could trust him.
Well, okay.
Well, it wasn't him who just had an idea. Like there's these guys like Michael Flynn, Roger Stone. Like there's not very many guys like that you can identify as being like in that faction, but both of them got arrested, right? For no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have my suspicions about General Flynn because he signs books at book signings where we go when we go all. Like that's the way he signs books. It's like, okay. And this was before like the Q thing blew up.
That's actually really, really interesting.
He knows about it.
That's fascinating.
So that's my working theory that it's basically a war between the CIA and the NSA / military intelligence. And it was corroborated recently, like with the whole Hunter Biden thing.
Yeah,
like we got this laptop story is interesting and it may be true, but not everything that they released was on a laptop. Like they had phone conversations and they had his texts. And that's not something you would pull off a laptop that was in the shop, but it was something that the NSA would definitely have.
Well, don't stop. I can only get so erect in a conversation. Like I can only get so excited. The idea that Q is real and
has complete control, more or less complete control over information creation and dissemination. Right, they're all the media. Right, but the NSA can see everything, including what the Democrat. They can see everything everybody's doing all the time. So like they will know what is happening with everybody in advance. So which one of those is stronger? I don't know. I'm leaning toward NSA. I think they'll win.
Yeah, and that's another aspect of this is I was watching Tim Pool, and he said that the Trump camp seemed extremely confident. Yes. And they're just boasting. I'm like, yeah, because they're on the ground, they're with the rallies, they're in the crowds. Of course, they're confident. And when you look at a Joe Biden rally, it's absolutely pathetic. But
also, they have advanced knowledge.
They have what?
They have advanced knowledge. They know everything.
That's that could also be true. Mm-hmm. So, as I said, just more information for me to just kind of sit back, pop open a pop, and just enjoy the reeing of the left as it goes, as the nation is painted red.
Yeah. Another thing Alex Jones says, he said it, not the most recent podcast on Joe Rogan, but one just before it. He said that like everybody was expecting like widespread voter fraud in 2016, and he says there was, and that's why the Democrats were so sure they were going to win that the Newsweek printed up like their cover, Madam President. They were absolutely sure they were going to win because they had rigged it in advance.
Okay,
right? But the Trump faction knew that it was going to be rigged in advance and knew how to get around that. To get around their rigging, like they knew where it was being rigged and they knew how it was being rigged, and so they knew where to campaign and what electoral votes to get. So they would have a big enough surge that they could overcome the disinformation and the rigging.
That is utterly fascinating. And what's not so surprising is in 2018, Texas, the state of Texas, caught the Beto O'Rourke campaign in so many infractions of vote harvesting that it was absolutely insane. And yes. I am very certain that the Trump campaign has, shall we say, countermeasures in place for.
If you consider like what the mainstream narrative is Trump is just one guy. He's just one guy, and all the intelligence services hate him. The military hates him. The police hates him. Okay, fine. If that's true, then how does he know everything in advance? How does he have any contact with the outside world at all? You would think he would be completely cut off from the outside world, but he isn't, right? So clearly part of that story is not true.
Yeah, something else is going on. Give me a second. Just keep talking about this whole Q stuff. I am fascinated. Just give me one moment as I step away.
Oh, sure. I might be almost out. That's my whole theory. Oh, also like little things. Do you remember the CBS debate? I got to tell you, I did not pay much attention to like electoral politics for most of my life, but 2016, I saw every single Trump appearance and I saw every single debate, some of them multiple times, right? Because it was just so fascinating watching this thing evolve because it was so unlike anything we'd ever seen before. But the Ben Carson debate, the CBS one, where it had the all pink background, immediately after what was his name? Carson. Carson had his surge, and then Trump did his very humorous like belt buckle pantomime, and then Ben Carson dropped back down in the polls. It was the one right after that. Right? You still there? I'll just talk.
Yeah. I'm back. Continue, please.
Okay. And immediately before that debate, there was like the happening off stage, right? Where they call Ben Carson's name and he doesn't hear it. and Ted Cruz comes by and like being a dick to Carson, and then Marco Rubio comes by and is like he's being a dick to Carson, and then Trump comes out and he stands with Carson, being a gentleman, right? And then they both come out on the stage together, like showing, Trump's a super nice guy. These are the two guys are dicks. Everybody saw that.
I missed that. I do not remember that event.
The remarkable thing about that is that there was a camera pointed backstage to catch this in advance. Like they have candidates coming, they're announcing them one at a time, and they're coming off both sides of the stage, right? But there's a camera pointing only down the left side to catch this thing happening. Not both sides. First of all, what's the precedent to having a camera pointed down backstage at a debate? It's never happened before or since. And
Indeed.
It wasn't powered both directions, it just happened to be in this one direction to catch this one thing that was happening.
Well, if we're going to talk about cameras catching things,
well, no, that had to be set up in advance.
I know, but if we're going to talk about cameras catching things, I think I sent you something about the envelope affair during George Senior's funeral.
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
They all got.
Sure is interesting.
They all got letters in their what do you call it? The what do you call those printouts? The
like the invitation or whatever.
Well, not the invitation. It's the program. They got letters in the program, and the letters went to George Bush, Obama, Biden, Hillary. Jimmy Carter didn't get one.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter, he sucked. Jimmy Carter, you don't get anything.
Yeah, but Hillary got one. The Obamas got one. George Bush got one. And every time that they opened one of these mysterious letters, like all of them got this "oh shit" look on their faces. And the cameras were perfectly positioned to catch these moments.
How strange. I wonder what that was about.
Oh, who knows? Who the hell knows? It's just, and they call it the envelope affair. And it's what started this whole it was one of the major events that started the whole QAnon phenomenon. People thinking, oh, hey, there might be something to this bullshit.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me that Carter didn't get one. I never thought that he was deep state.
No, I think he's I'm almost ashamed to say it, but for being a bleeding heart lefty, he actually seemed to be somewhat principled and humane.
Also, I'm pretty sure that the intelligence services were working against him to get Reagan elected in 1980. With the whole hostage thing?
That's probably true. Probably true.
Reagan, I don't know how the conspiracy you want to go, but there's something we could talk about.
I actually don't know anything about Reagan and the quote-unquote conspiracy. I do know. The thing about good old Kipper.
Gipper.
Yes. Almost got everything right. Then he did amnesty, and towards the end, he got cozy with Russia. He wasn't. You see, Trump wasn't the first one to get cozy with Russia.
No. Yeah. There's
actually,
a documentary on the Cold War that is still up on YouTube that you can watch. That they say that first of all, that like Reagan was extremely naive about communism. It's like, oh, if we just sat down and talked to them, they must know that communism is terrible. If we just walk up to them and say, hey, would you want to stop doing communism? I'm sure we can have a discussion about that. And his handlers, always managed to steer him away from. And they say that 88-89, he went off the reservation. Like he escaped his handlers and had this summit with Gorbachev, which he wasn't supposed to have, which ended up ending the Cold War. He actually had the conversation. I
actually remember hearing something about that. Is he's just it's exactly what Trump did with the Middle East. He escaped his handlers when he was supposed to be in isolation because of COVID, or something about the a recess in Congress or something like that. He went over to the Middle East and he's like, okay, how long can we take to finish all this drama? And the generals told him straight up, we can end this in 2 weeks. Just give us the order.
Yeah, yeah.
And the rest of his generals back in the States were fucking telling him, what, 6 months? And he's like, just get it done. Get it done.
So speaking of the Middle East, though, I'm sorry, did you have more?
No, that was it. And he on the campaign stump, he did this remarkable analogy about how his father taught him to go on the construction sites and pick up nails to preserve material, and he took that ethic into the presidency and ended up saving us untold billions, I'm sure. So I'm sure you had something to say after that.
Oh no, I was just going to ask you about the coup in Saudi Arabia. What do you think that was about?
Oh,
when he sent Kushner down there, and all of a sudden, like, I'm not going to do this justice because I forgot all the names, but they basically effected a coup in Saudi Arabia. They deposed the king, they deposed the heir apparent, the prince, and they installed this other guy.
Well, no, the other guy was a fellow prince.
Yes, but he wasn't next in line.
No, he was an anti-corruption candidate within the royal family, and the deal was essentially to get Saudi Arabia outside of the stranglehold of what I'm now connecting the dots, assuming to be the CIA.
Yes, and that's my take as well.
And the trade deal that resulted from that, the bargain was, you be your country's guy, you help us get all of these essentially warmongers in Saudi Arabia out of power, and we will support and enrich your country like we would any other ally. Is the general gist of what happened with the Saudi Arabian coup. And that, as far as I understand, everything's stable. Like, no one has risen up to oppose this other Saudi prince, which, if Biden gets in power, he's gone. If Biden gets in power...
Yeah, maybe. How do you reassert control over Saudi Arabia without affecting another coup?
That's exactly what would happen.
How do you do that without the cooperation of the military? Right? How does that work if they're not working together?
Sir, I'm going to just state something very just probably an overgeneralization. Never underestimate the capabilities of your enemies. If they did it before, they would do it again. And if it is in their agenda, if there is an agenda,
you run the propaganda campaign, you run the color revolution, whatever, and then you move the troops in.
Yeah, and if the CIA wants to destabilize a region, they can do that in their fucking sleep.
Well, how's it working in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Does this not look like a color revolution to you?
It
not
looks
the
like
the propaganda, but there's no force. They don't have any force, right?
Yeah.
All they can do is make TV for you.
Yeah, here's the problem, though.
Start a riot, point a camera at it, and then what's the next step? They don't have a next step.
Yes, but the game in America is very different than the game in the Middle East. In the Middle East, if you were a CIA agent, you would have the ability to call in military forces against the reigning leader, military forces against
assets that you've cultivated in that country.
Yes.
Sure, but not the American military, I guess is the point.
Exactly. And the reaction from the public would be extremely negative. That makes that kind of tactic on U.S. soil extremely untenable. And yes, MGTOW values information is power. Absolutely.
But power is also power.
Power is also power. And
I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm saying they're having a bad time right now.
Oh, they're having a bad. All I'm saying, all I am trying to paint for you is the fact that if Biden is elected, they will have that carte blanche power to do and dismantle what has been built in Saudi Arabia almost within a week. Almost within a week.
Maybe.
Okay, maybe not a week, but I have no doubt that within like 6 months to a year of a Biden presidency, that Saudi Arabian prince is going to have his head on a silver platter.
Well, they've been trying to crack Iran for, my whole life. Right?
Well, what effort has been really
they
made?
Have their assets. They have their assets in there. They can mobilize them. They can start the riots. They can point the cameras at the riots, and then get everything ready. But I don't know. Without that, without the the Seventh Fleet there to make it happen, I don't know if it happens. This is good news. This is good news. It means their power is breaking.
Yes, it is, and I, as I said, I'm. All of these factors considered, I'm just. It is inconceivable that the American people would let these people back in power.
And you wonder why they're freaking out. And you wonder why they're freaking out. Like Donald Trump literally broke all of their toys. Every single one. He broke all their toys. He destroyed basically the WTO is dead. They destroyed that. He took away Saudi Arabia. He basically broke the power of the CIA. Basically, like their media stranglehold. I don't know if you remember like how it was in like the 1990s. Like they controlled both all the media.
You know what? I remember that. I actually remember seeing donations to the Clinton Foundation in regards, and somehow there was this bizarre link between massive multimedia U.S. companies like CNN and MSNBC and the Saudi and the Saudis
and Fox.
Yes, Fox News especially. And I'm sitting here going, "What the fuck is going on?"
And Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera is basically the BBC.
Yeah, it's ISIS-oriented BBC, but yes.
Yeah. But no, literally under the control of the BBC. They broadcast out of Qatar. It's staffed by ex-BBC executives and journalists and stuff like that. And they run anti-Western stuff, but they're basically the CIA.
And whites dare not apply.
Yeah. not on camera, but in the office, yeah.
All righty. So, what are your plans for the election? Well, we will end on this. What is the household of Incel Riot going to look like on election day?
Well, that for me is today. I don't know. Who do I like? Daily Wire will have a stream. I'll probably watch that. I like them.
You like
Styx Hexenhammer, who I've been supporting since like way back in 2015. He's going to have a live stream. I'll watch that. Probably going to give Fox a miss.
That's fair enough. Yeah, I'll be honest. The Carnal household this is going to be a family day. I will probably be binge watching One Hero Academia with my second oldest, and just checking the phone every once in a while to get updates as to who's winning and what's going where. Because
I'll stay on your Discord. Anything I see, like usual, I'll just send it to your Discord.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Because you're the only one who pays attention. Send it to other people.
Well, no, Mandatory is actually a very, very active and very helpful with posting information, and so he will probably actually be very helpful there as well. It's been a pleasure, Incel. It's been a pleasure. Right. Anything else you have for the audience?
That's it. Oh, anything more I would say would just go down like another 30-minute rabbit hole. So We can end it
Okay,
here.
fair enough. All right, guys. As always, enjoy this election day. It's going to be magnificent. Well, drop into
All
my
right.
election stream if you like. Sure, if I'm around and I'm available, we'll check out Mgatau's values stream. Excellent plug-in, sir. And we're off. Stay carnal, guys. Bye.